You put the sunshine in your big old suitcase. Now only the rain fills the sky. You were mine, yeah. Suddenly it's changed. Wish that I could find a way to stop the rain. Stop the rain. Wish that I could stop the rain. Stop the rain. Now you see, I thought that everything was going fine, but I was blind as a man can be. I took for granted what you tried hard to give, and now the rain is all that I can see. You were mine, but that was yesterday. Wish that I could find a way to stop the rain. Stop the rain. Wish that I could stop the rain falling from the rain. Now listen. Tell me please, do you understand what this feeling is all about? Yeah, was when you left me, you took away my heart now. Squeeze the sunshine out. For the time, this heart of mine will heal the sunshine. And I can find a way to stop the rain. Stop the rain. Oh, stop the rain falling now. Sometimes what's good hurts the bad. What does being so happy seems so sad. Melancholy feelings comes over me. 'Cause I know I was wrong all along. 'Cause I just sit here and feel sorry for myself. Stop the rain. Put my heart up on the shelf and what pieces. Ooh. I got to leave, but I know my heart will stay.
Welcome, friends. Welcome. Get the music, yeah. We're going to get started here in just a minute. We're trying to get our last of our folks through the door and find a seat. I know there are 2 seats over there that no one will take, and if you want a seat, want to make your way over there. There's actually 3 seats over there. So we also have an overflow room set up, and so for those who are arriving late, I see a seat there too. So we should be able to get our last couple of folks in here, and then we'll get started. All right, Kathy, are we ready? No, give us just one more minute. Okay. We'll get our last couple of folks in here and seated. Too blind to see my weakness. I did you wrong, I know, but you couldn't really see my side. See my side. You didn't understand. Now it's too late to cry. Too late for one to love and cry. Oh, you've got to dry your eyes. Baby, it's too late to cry. We had those good times, some that were so bad. We could all the way that we felt at the start. They could cry. The feeling is gone now. Gets so bad sometimes it's hard to stop from breaking down. Stop from breaking down. And if you really try, it's too late to cry. Too late for one. Okay, while we're getting settled in, I want to test the mic and make sure y'all can hear me. I heard so do I have everyone in the back can hear me? Can you hear me in the back row there? Excellent. All right. I think we gave a 1-minute warning to the folks downstairs, and I think we're about ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. Good evening, and thank you for being here. Welcome to our town hall and community conversation. This is hosted by Murfreesboro Indivisible, and I'm Susan Myers-Shirk, and I'm a local volunteer and member of the leadership team for Murfreesboro Indivisible. And you might have met Wayne on your way in. Wayne has been my kind of right-hand man. He may still be downstairs. He's taking care of the overflow room. Okay. So shout out to him for all the help that he's been in this process. So I want to tell you a little bit about Indivisible so you know kind of who we are and why we're here. So Indivisible is a state and national organization, and it's comprised of literally thousands of local chapters. And it's grassroots, it's progressive, it's nonpartisan, and it's committed to nonviolent engagement. So the local chapters like Murfreesboro share those national values, but we also have our own mission and our own priorities. So we were established out of a group of neighbors in January of 2025. And we've had a series of conversations that now we kind of have a mission statement. We have a sense of who we are and what we want to accomplish. And we advocate for democracy, for First Amendment rights, for rule of law, and adherence to the Constitution. And we're committed to creating networks of like-minded Tennesseans, fostering community, encouraging conversation, providing opportunities to engage and participate in our democracy, and educating about civic responsibilities. And we also think it's important to hold our elected officials accountable, which is why we originally organized this town hall, and we sent an official invitation to our Congressman, Scott Desjardins. We never received confirmation from the congressman, but we thought this conversation was so important, we decided to move forward with the town hall and invite the community to participate. We're really fortunate tonight that we will have representatives from the Democratic and the Republican parties to help us reflect on the future of our district. And this is open, we tried to advertise this across the district, which is tough because there's a bunch of us, a bunch of counties, and we're widespread, but we tried to get the word out. To make sure that our conversation tonight is meaningful and productive, I do want to lay a few ground rules. I want to ask that you please be respectful. Don't resort to name calling, shouting, or interrupting the speakers. That makes for good theater. It also makes for good Facebook posts, but that's not what we're about. We're here to build our local community and help sort out our future. Please also be respectful of our moderator. At any point, if she asks you to be seated or stop talking, please follow her instructions. I know that there's a lot of emotion around what we're doing. There are people who are angry and they're worried and they're frightened. But we at Murfreesboro Indivisible believe that our best way forward is to engage in conversation with our friends and our neighbors and our family, even and especially the ones we disagree with. Let's see where it was. And I want to thank you for being here, for being willing to participate and to engage in conversation for the good of our district. And I'll talk more at the end about how you can get involved. It's now my very great pleasure to introduce you to our moderator for the evening, Kelly Northcutt. She's an MTSU alum, a former state Senate candidate, recent Murfreesboro City Council candidate, former county party chair, organizer, activist, founding member of the Rutherford County Community Coalition, and our resident political junkie. So, Kelly.
That describes me to a T. Thank you, Susan. And thank you so much to Murfreesboro Indivisible for hosting this. And I am thrilled to see the turnout, the number of people that are interested in a town hall and excited to hear from candidates. As Susan said, we did invite Representative Scott Desjardins. I believe he was first elected in 2010. His one and only town hall was 2013, which is over 2,000 days since his last town hall. And the candidates that replied were interested in having a town hall. Representative Desjardins never said he would not attend. Is he here? That would be a great surprise. Thank you so much for attending, Representative Desjardins. His answers may be a little wooden, but he's a little stiff. Okay. And our two human candidates. First, let me introduce the Republican challenger, Tom Davis. If you could come on out, Tom. And our Democratic challenger, Victoria Broderick. And thank you both for attending in person. Yeah. All right. The way that we're going to do this, I will allow each of the candidates a couple of minutes to kind of introduce themselves to you, and then we'll follow up with some questions that we've come up with, and then questions that we've collected from you as you entered and filled out cards. So let's start with Victoria. Go ahead, and you have 2 minutes to do an introduction. We have a timekeeper. Kathy Watts on the front row here will kind of keep things within our time constraints. So go ahead, Victoria.
You guys almost got the stand to my height, so that's good. Hi guys, I'm Victoria Broderick, and I'm so happy. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really appreciate everything that you guys have done just to be here tonight, and it's super important. For those of you who don't know, I decided to run in 2024 when I found out my opponent, Scott Desjardins, was going to run unopposed on the Democratic side, and I said over my dead body. I might have had some drinks, it's okay. It was a nice little call. But I decided to run because I believe that you all deserve better representation. You deserve representatives who show up. So here I am, running for Congress for my second run. I have decided that this is too important not to give you guys that opportunity. Also, I love it. And when I decided to run this next time around, a couple of things came to mind. It's, what are we looking for in, Tennessee? And it's better representation, first and foremost. It's a district that is supported by the federal government and is represented by the federal government. So that's my hope tonight. So I hope you like what you hear. Thanks for coming out, and I appreciate all of you.
And Tom Davis.
I'm a little disappointed. I was promised walk-on music.
I could hum a little.
I was not. That is not. My name is Tom Davis, and I am challenging Congressman Scott Desjardins in the Republican primary. So 4 things to know about me up front. 1, I am a Christian. 2, I am a conservative. 3, I am a U.S. Army combat veteran. And while I'm a little more optimistic this year than I was last, I am still very concerned about the state and the direction of this nation. And then 4th, I am a Republican. So I served almost 25 years in the Army. My job, my MOS, was 88 Mike, which is a motor transport operator, just another cool way of saying truck driver. I held a variety of duty positions, including wheeled vehicle operator, training NCO, squad leader, leadership instructor, drill sergeant, and platoon sergeant. I left the Army in 2014, and I moved home to Arizona, where I served for a short period of time as a law enforcement officer. All right. No worries. I moved to Tennessee in 2017 to be closer to family. I am currently the quartermaster of VFW Post 5064 in McMinnville, an active member of American Legion Post 173, also in McMinnville. I am a part of the leadership or the safety ministry at First Baptist Church in McMinnville, and I am currently serving on the leadership Warren County, which brings us the Autumn Street Fair, which brings me in front of you today. And again, I am not happy with my representation and have decided to run again to seek that nomination through the Republican Party. Thank you.
Thank you both. The questions that we came up with to ask the candidates, they were both supplied in advance. The questions that come from the audience are just as new to them as they are to me. So we'll start off with our questions. And each candidate will have 3 minutes to answer each question. All right. You're both running to replace Congressman Scott Desjardins. What would you do differently if elected, and how does your approach reflect what this district needs that it is not getting today? Let's let Tom Davis answer that one first, please.
So I think I've already set myself apart by sitting in this room. And him not showing up is not uncommon. So for me, at least quarterly in the district, town halls disseminated out so if you want to attend, you can attend. I will push for single item legislation in Congress. My votes will always be no on increasing our debt ceiling and our deficit spending. I will negotiate, but I will not compromise. As an example, Congressman Scott Desjardins voted in favor of transgender affirming care in our military. Outside of any type of belief system, that has no place. It is a detractor from the military readiness, and it can be potentially dangerous for those involved. It is an elective surgery, and we, the taxpayers, should not be on the hook for it. And additionally, after they leave the service, if they are awarded compensation because of it, then we pay continually for that service. Additionally, I will support veterans within the community by pushing for the Major Richard Starr Act to be passed, which has had alleged bipartisan support, but for some reason it's not passed. Very good legislation that needs to be passed. Additionally, instead of just dropping placeholding legislation, I will look to solve the problems over in Bedford County with our Tennessee walking horses, and the issues that they have going on there. And again, the main thing that I've heard throughout the district is that he's not there. So I will be present within the district. And that's the end. Thank you.
Would you like for me to repeat the question?
You can.
Okay. Okay. So this is for you, Victoria. You're both running to replace Congressman Scott Desjardins. What would you do differently if elected, and how does your approach reflect what this district needs that it's not getting today?
I don't know if you guys mind if I stand, but I'm going to stand. So I learned an interesting fact today, and I'm going to share it with you all. Scott Desjardins hasn't had a town hall in 2,431 days. Now that seems a bit ridiculous, at least to me. And I have to give it to Tom. He showed up tonight. That's something that we don't have normally. So touche. That's a big deal to show up. Scott, you're looking a little flat over there. So while we're here, how can I differentiate myself? I'm a working class mother. I have 2 tiny humans at home. I have 6 foster kittens right now because I volunteer with my local Animal Humane Society. I have a foster mom who's there as well. She's up for adoption this weekend, so if anybody needs a kitten, please go down to Lincoln County and adopt this mama and maybe adopt a baby. Anyway, I will not do the pitch on my cats anymore. So yeah, I have my own fur babies. I have my foster. I work full-time. I did that my entire congressional race this last time. Full-time job, 2 tiny humans, fosters, all the things. I also was the chair of Lincoln County Democrats here in Tennessee. Now I have stepped into a different role. I am on the Tennessee State Executive Committee. So I understand that we need better representation, and that starts from the ground up. And I think that I can represent that for you all. I know that you all want safety, affordability, and freedom. Those are easy things to attain. And they don't have to come at the expense of demonizing the minorities in our country, demonizing vulnerable people. We don't have to do that. We can do both. We can take care of our people here, and we can, take care of the rest of the world if we need to too. Because that's what we've done, and that's the American dream, and that's the America that I was raised and want to see exist and not go away to fascism. So if that sounds good to you, I really do think that that's something that I can provide. I want to be here. I am here. Scott hasn't 2,431 days. That's an insane amount of time for a representative not to be here. And I want everyone here, including the Republicans listening in. Your representatives are supposed to represent you. It's no different than when you go down to your favorite coffee shop and order your latte. We are here to serve you. And the fact that we're not in the room, and he's not in the room, says everything you need to know. So in 2026, I want you to vote for change. I want you to vote for better representation. And if you need to, vet me. I have 3.5 years worth of content out there that can provide my stances and where I am, and that I'm willing to do the work and be here to represent you.
Getting some ex-military support out there, yeah. Hoorah. Okay, the next question I'll address to Victoria first and then Tom. This is about tariffs and trade. Tennessee's farmers and small manufacturers have felt real pain from recent tariff decisions or indecisions. What's your view on U.S. trade policy, and how would you protect rural economies like we have in Tennessee's 4th Congressional District?
Cool. So, fun fact, I worked in international and domestic logistics for 5 years of my life. I actually felt these trade policies and what they can do to small businesses here in the United States. And I was at 2 different companies, one in Texas, in Dallas, while I worked in the tile and stone industry. I imported and was responsible for all the logistics coming out of China, India, Italy, Spain, and I think there was one more. There might be one. No, it's 4. So I had to do that. And when the tariffs were put in place in 2017, I watched what happened in my small industry, who housed all the, we helped provide that tile. You go down to the Lowe's and pick up your local tile company. We watched that happen. What happened is we had $3.5 million worth of product sitting on the water that we had to figure out what we were going to do because it was under contract with a bigger corporation that could take the hit if they lost the money. We couldn't. We couldn't pay those extra tariffs. So I don't agree with tariffs. Do I believe that we need fair trade? Absolutely, I do. Do I believe that we need it to look responsible? Yes, I do. But I also agree with Teddy Roosevelt. We don't need to do it blustering and yelling at and threatening and coming up with nicknames like Taco. What we need is to speak softly and carry a big stick. That is what we've done for years, and it has worked. Blustering and yelling and waving your hands and screaming on Temu Twitter does not work. So what we should do is make sure that we're working with those industries and bringing that here, not losing trade agreements, because our district is agricultural. Our district suffers when the soybeans don't get purchased by China. So we need to make sure that that's not happening. And the way we do that is not pissing off all the people who buy that. It's talking to them, getting the best options and the deals that bring that federal funding here so we can continue growing that, because our farmers deserve better. They deserve a representative who's bringing federal dollars home to them to better their businesses and not just giving it to big agriculture.
Would you like for me to repeat the question? Would you like for me to repeat the question?
No, this is tariffs.
Yeah, okay.
I am all in on the tariffs. Congress has abdicated their responsibility to the executive branch, so let's let the executive branch do the thing until we get back to the Constitution and the U.S. House and the Senate are performing their function with the tariffs. We've been doing it for a very long time this way, and it is not good for us, the Americans. We've lost factories. We're losing it all. So I'm in. Let's ride it out, relax a little bit, and see where it goes. Now, the farmers that I have talked to in the district have felt no impact. In fact, one of them has said that it's good because the beef prices have gone up. I also believe in the resilience of the American people to adapt and overcome and adjust to the varying conditions and make it happen. That is the history that we have in this nation. So for right now, I say let it go, let it ride out, and see the way it works. We know where it's been in the past. And where it's been in the past is losing business from this country and pushing it all overseas. So that is my stance on tariffs. Thank you.
All right, Tom, you'll be the first one to answer this next question. Tennessee has a near total abortion ban in place. What federal role, if any, should exist in protecting or restricting reproductive health access?
The federal government should have no role in abortion. Additionally, it is up to the states to protect life as they see fit. No federal dollars in any shape or form should go to abortion or reproductive rights, as we call them. Thank you.
Victoria, would you like for me to repeat that?
No, you don't need to repeat it. I got this one. All right, I disagree. It's a simple answer. He's right. The federal government does have no place in our medical decisions. That's what you're right. But states' rights is just a dog whistle. It's just a way to oppress people. I'm oppressed. I don't have the same rights. The reason I decided to run for office is because my IUD failed. And in a matter of a 6-week span, I had to figure out what my life would look like having an IUD pregnancy. And that's not saying that it couldn't have turned out healthy, but I was actively bleeding. And it took 6 weeks to fully miscarry. And guess what? I was okay. But I had access to every opportunity that is provided under the protection of Roe v. Wade. And we need that back. Because women will die. People will die. Families will hurt. So I say that because guess what? A couple weeks later, I found out I was pregnant again. Yay. Fertile Myrtle over here. Love that for me. Future handmaid, ready to go. But here's the thing. The problem is I did have to go through medical testing because it wasn't a healthy circumstance. Pregnancy is not safe. We know that. That's why the quickening exists. And if you don't know what the quickening is, it's what they said in medieval times to define when a pregnancy was viable and when you were out of the danger zone. That is what we should focus on. If medieval people can be understanding and understand that pregnancy doesn't always stick around, then we can do that too. We don't need pre-medieval ideologies in our bedrooms. We don't need that in our doctor's offices. We don't need our doctors with their arms tied behind their back. So we do need Roe v. Wade. We don't need states going over here and making myself and every other woman in this room second-class citizens. We have enough of that in this country. We don't need extra. And I'll end like this. Abortion is healthcare. Abortion is healthcare. My beliefs should not influence your own. And if that is your stance and you think it's wrong, cool. Stay out of the bedroom. Don't have sex. That's perfectly fine for everyone else. So if that sounds good, yay. All right, thank you guys.
All right, our next question, Victoria, you can answer this one first. Our state's leads in few things, but we're leading in rural hospital closures. What's your plan to ensure consistent access to essential services like maternity care, emergency rooms, and mental health?
Yeah, that. Hands off Medicaid. Thank you for saying that. Yes, hands off Medicaid. Guys, Tennessee needs federal funding. I do believe in expanding Medicaid. I believe that we should have universal health care. We should take the pressure off of companies and provide people real resources so they don't go bankrupt in our country from going to the doctor. So they can address medical needs in the beginning and avoid additional costs later down the road. So they can enjoy their lives and not be a slave to their job. We need to expand it because rural Tennessee is hurting right now. We all know a county, a city, that we can't find a health care provider. OBs are abandoning the state because they're being villainized by bad rhetoric, by lies. We need to give them their jobs and allow them to do their jobs, and we need to make sure it's safe for them to do their jobs. We also need to make sure that we have access to Medicare and medical doctors everywhere. If we don't have that, then everyone's going to suffer, and we're going to feel that. And we might be able to endure for a while, but I don't feel like you should have to suffer to be a U.S. citizen.
This one's going to get spicy because I have a very similar stance on this one. And I'll just tell you, I mean, you can see my short lines on this, but I have no plans for this. Medical care is an individual responsibility, and how you determine to do that is up to you. If you need to be closer to it, that's where you should position yourself. So, see what I tell you. So, it
All right, all
there you
right.
go.
Let's
And
not
that's-
eat into his time.
And that's where it is. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, the next question, Tom, you can answer this one first. What practical solutions would you push for in Congress to raise incomes and reduce everyday costs for working families in Tennessee?
So Congress has the constitutional authority to regulate commerce, not necessarily wages. Now, having said that, I will push for deregulation so that businesses can flourish and wages can go up. Next thing,
All right, let's be civil, please.
next is taxes. So we cut taxes, we simplify them. There is no reason that we should have 4,000 pages of tax code. This should be very simple. All we need, and now outside of repealing the 16th Amendment, we make it very easy. No more than a 9% tax on income. Did I say anything other than 9% income tax is the max on all wages? And then no more than a 9% sales tax nationwide. And then the government spends no more than what it takes from us. It lives within its means, just like I'm sure everybody in this room is doing. So now, having done that, it leaves more money in your pocket to spend. So that's the push, and that's where I'm at with wages and where we're at. Thank you.
That kind of begs for some follow-up questions, but we'll move to the next question.
Am I answering that? Or?
Oh, yes, yeah, I'm sorry. You didn't answer that one yet, did you? Yeah.
Trying
I'm
to steal
sorry.
my time.
I was taken aback.
Liberals.
Do you want me to repeat the question, or are you good?
No, I got it.
Okay.
Okay, well, okay, so I don't agree. I think that we need to force companies to pay living wages. You can't survive on $7.25 an hour, and if you think that you can, please go ahead and try. I did it in college. I would recommend you do that. I think everyone should do that who brags about that when they have, I'm sorry, Tom, when you have medical paid for your entire life by the government, I think that every person should have that. You served your country. We all serve too. And that's not a dig, because we've been warped into this mindset that somehow if we pull ourselves up just hard enough, it will be okay. That the companies that we work for aren't going to use us. That they're going to treat us nicely and we'll get that little extra 5-pound bag of candy sent to us by our boss after a really hard week. That happened to me last week because I work a full-time liberal job. Now, we need to make corporations pay their fair share. We need to make millionaires and billionaires pay their fair share. The problem isn't us working class people, or even Tom, who disagrees with me. It's millionaires and billionaires who are using our labor. Using our labor, renting our time, paying us unfairly, and then being like, you should be so thankful you have a job. Love that for you. So great. We don't need that. That's not fair. That's not right. Your time is valuable. You deserve more time with your families. You deserve time off. You deserve time not to worry about medical expenses. We should take that off the corporations because they should be making a profit. I agree with Tom on that. Their job is to make money and pay you living wages so you can live your life well. And then as well as that, you can go and enjoy your life. You should work to live, not live to work. So no, we're going to, when I go to Congress, and for the Republicans here, I will fight for you just as hard as I'm fighting for every Democrat here. Anyone who follows me knows that I like to punch a little bit. So when I say that, what I mean is that you all deserve to have that. When I go to Congress, I will fight for that because you all deserve better. And when one boat rises, we all ride. We want to rise with the tide, and it should lift everyone up. Corporations should be profitable, but you all should be profitable too. Your life shouldn't be a struggle. That's not fair.
Okay, this is a question that has impacted us locally, impacted our neighbors and families. What's your position, and you can answer this one first, what's your position on the ICE raids and the impact that has on immigrant families and communities in your district?
I heard you guys. So, as a supporter of the Constitution, I know that the right likes to say that I'm not that, because liberals are liberals, you know, whatever. Anyway, as a supporter of the Constitution, when you set foot on soil in the U.S., you are given liberty and justice for all. I did not say that every year in school to not provide that for my fellow man. It's not an undocumented immigrant. That might be their status, but they are human and they deserve due process. That is what this country is about. Inhumanely separating families, terrorizing them with the fear of being removed from the country, removed from the land that they work on, the taxes that they pay into our federal system that benefit all of the people in this room and anyone watching. That is why we have to give them their due process. Terrorizing them is not the thing. We can have safety and security at our border without expelling people from our country in the most inhumane way. I can think of a place that people got sent to, and it was justified as well. And that was in the 1930s and 1940s. That is unacceptable behavior. It was unacceptable then, it is unacceptable now, and I will not tolerate treating families and taxpayers that way.
Y'all ready for this? So, and just to go back real quick, I made a conscious effort to serve knowing what the benefits of that service were. Had I taken a different route, it would be a different situation, and I still have that same belief. That's my responsibility. So, now to our illegal aliens within this country. I'm on board. They need to go away. I will tell you why. So everyone in this room, when you go home tonight, if you show up and there are unwanted guests that they broke into your house, guaranteed every one of you is going to call the police and you are going to have them removed. It does not matter if it is a couple with 2 kids. They are going to leave. And you are not going to ask for those kids to stay when you have them escorted out. So our baseline, so these people have broke into our house. They have broken into our house. Okay. Now, that being said, that is the baseline. That is the baseline, and there are nuances to this. For example, if a child is brought into our country illegally at 3 years old, and they have been here for 15 years, they are now 18. If they have gone to school, they speak English, they are waving the American flag. Let's have a conversation and see about an exception or a waiver. But outside of that, look, I'm here to explain my position, not try and convince you. And chances are probably pretty good you're not going to convince me. But I offered I can provide the courtesy or to Victoria when she's speaking, and I would expect the same.
Yes,
so,
please.
If not, that's fine too. It's all part of the gig. That being said, thank you very much.
Thank you. And just a reminder, to give him ample time give him his time to answer, give Victoria her time to answer, and let's be civil and listening, no matter whether you agree or disagree. All right, we've got two more of our questions, and then we'll move on to the questions from the audience. All right, Tom, you get to answer this one first. How do you propose we strengthen election integrity while ensuring no eligible voter faces barriers to casting their ballot?
We require states to clean up their voter rolls. We require photo ID, and we require same-day in-person voting. I believe any voter that is looking to cast their vote, that they should have the wherewithal to figure out how to get an ID. You cannot tell me that as a nation, we cannot do same-day in-person voting. There are other countries with much larger populations that do that exact same thing. India is one, all right? It doesn't matter, it's an election. So that's how we do it. And there's no reason in this country that we cannot do same-day in-person voting with voter ID, photo ID.
Victoria?
Okay. Sorry. Tom, I do appreciate that you did serve. I do appreciate that. I also recognize that it takes a lot, and you took an oath to the Constitution, and I just want to say that beforehand because it wasn't a dig at you. I think that you benefit from a system that is propped up by socialism, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, let's talk about voting. Tennessee, if any of you go voting in Tennessee, you go in the voter room and you're like in the election commission, you're doing your thing. I noticed something this time around because I was running for office. Tennessee is #1 in voter integrity. #1. Why are we 51st in voter turnout? I know why. Because you have to work. Because we are good at voter suppression. Mm-hmm. We are so good at it. We're like, #1. Anyway, we need to make it more accessible. I don't believe in one-day voting. Unless it's going to be a federal holiday, which I'm all for. We have enough federal holidays. We can just add another one. I love a nice holiday. Don't you guys like a day off from work? I do. We need it to be more accessible. It shouldn't require you to actually sign up. You should automatically be signed up as soon as you turn 18. We already have all the information. The Patriot Act did that. We have the information. We can do this and make it easier. We need to make it more accessible for our farmers and our nurses who are on different schedules than we are. We need to make it accessible for families so that they can go on the weekends. Because I don't know about you. I have two tiny humans, and they do love to go vote with me and hit the button a couple of times. But it's a hard thing to load them up in the car and be like, let's go after I've worked a 40-hour work week. You guys all know. You guys do the working class thing. We need to make it accessible. If the fear is that it's not integrity, if we can't have the voter integrity or whatever, I don't know what we're doing here in Tennessee because someone is lying at the state, and guess what? They're Republicans. So we need to make that question. If voter integrity is the thing, we have a supermajority of Republicans, and they need to be asking those questions. So I encourage all of you to call them because, like Tom said, we need to have better voter integrity. So why don't we call our state legislature and ask them some questions if it's not safe? Why are we saying we're #1? That sounds like a big fat lie to me. But that's not the case. It is safe. It is those things. It's just not accessible. And that needs to change. We need to make sure that every single person has the right to vote because I want to see you on the field with me. I don't want you to be the turf that I'm walking on. I want you to be a player on the field making decisions with me so that we can have better representation because that's what I signed up to do. And if that sounds good to you, then let's go. 2026 is right around the corner, guys. Activism is a muscle.
Thank you. And yeah, let's remember to keep it civil and allow both of our candidates their time for answering the questions. All right. Our political system feels increasingly broken. If elected, how would you work across the aisle to deliver for your district? Victoria, you're first up with this one.
First and foremost, I want to say, guys, I don't need you guys to yell at him. I got that. I'm your fighter. Let me fight for you. Let me go to DC and do the hard work. I want politics to be boring again. Right? I want some good old nostalgia, but the healthy kind, not the one that props up oppression. I want it to be easier for you all to live your lives every day. And the way we do that is having civil discourse. We can do that. We can shake hands at the end of the day. I don't bear any ill will to Tom. I really don't. My grandmother is a Republican. My great-grandfather was a state senator in South Carolina. My grandmother's godfather is Senator Strom Thurmond. That's part of my family. That's my history. But we can have those things and go out and have these conversations. What we need to take out of it is the believing that what I believe is what you need to believe, and you all have to do the same thing. We have to. No, I know that my beliefs end at my door. Why can't everyone else be the same way? My beliefs, my opinions stop at my door. The rules that apply in my house, I tell my kids every day, I'm like, hey, this is our house. This is what we do. We're not going to be threatened by other people. This is what we believe. You might believe differently in a couple of years, and you're probably going to tell me in about 20 minutes that I'm a bad mommy, but that's okay. So we can do these things, and how we do that in DC is getting representatives who are actually engaged in their districts, who are doing town halls, who are making sure that we're listening to you. Like I said, I'm no different than a Starbucks barista. I'm no different than the person you talk to every single day. That's my job. My job is to listen even when I don't like it. I work customer service. Some of you actually got to witness a phone call I took before this because I work a full-time job. We can do that. But what it requires is engaged politicians. You don't need to love me. You need me to work for you. That's my job. And anyone who tells you any differently, who tells you need to go buy a shirt or a sign or whatever, that's great. What I want to see you is the polls. What I want to see you is engaged. I want you to hear what I'm saying, and I want to empower you to be more involved. Because when you have that, I get more votes, and you get better representation, and I get a job in 2026. Thanks.
Well, our founding fathers warned us of a two-party system, but here we are. So we deal with what we have. How do I work across the lines? I'm here. I will be in the district. Thank you. I will be in the district talking to my fellow citizens to see what's going on and what we need in this district. I also take up there leadership skills and abilities and a mission-first attitude, which I don't know if you've noticed some of my responses are pretty short and to the point. Part of that is I can read a room. The other part of that is Army writing style and the way to get things done, bottom line up front, and then you go to work. We need to shrink this government and put things back where they belong, which is on us, the citizens with individual responsibilities. So there you go, another short answer. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, this is the section where we move on to the questions that you've contributed. The first one is a very short question from Kim Tormey. Yeah, there you go. Is Desjardins real? I'll go ahead and field that one. This particular Scott Desjardins is not real, but he is here. The real Desjardins, I've actually met him once, so I believe he exists. I don't believe that he's a figment of someone's imagination. But if he's not here, and he's not answerable to you, and he's not willing to have a town hall in,
431 days.
Yeah.
I'm going to post
Is that a
about
song
this,
from
guys.
Rent?
It's going to be on the socials.
Yeah.
That's 12 years, by the way.
Yes, not since 2013. He was elected in 2010. That's the only town hall he's given. So though he does exist, I don't think he is a real congressperson for his district. So I don't know. Can both of you agree with that answer? Yeah.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah. No notes, right.
Scott, you're looking a little flat over there. You want to come up and say hi? Oh, hold on. I think he wants to say something. No, it was a joke.
Same as usual. Okay, so this question is from Aria Rosewood. Did I say that right? And who's going first for this one? Tom? Yeah, okay. If you are elected, how will you fight for the working class? Will you oppose corporate lobbying and make efforts to overturn Citizens United? Good question.
So when I'm elected, again, it's shrinking government and allowing us to live our lives. So do I oppose, there definitely needs to be rails on the corporate lobbying, and it's not just corporate. There are lobbyists everywhere. They got a whole street dedicated to them up there. So, and if you looked at any of the history of it, the Federal Election Commission was created in the 70s, which was bad in a lot of ways, to combat some of this stuff. From where I'm sitting, it has done absolutely nothing but to confuse the situation and how they move money around. So yes, we need to rein in the corporations, put those guide rails in place, and also reduce our tax burdens, and then get our government living within its means, just like every one of us out here has to do. So I hope that answers the question.
Victoria?
All right, so as a working class person who has worked since I had baby teeth, get rid of Citizens United, get rid of corporate, all that stuff. I don't want a corporation paying for me. Like, one of the things that I like to brag about a little bit is that in 2024, 90% of my donations to my campaign were small dollar donations. That means under $50. That's a lot of money for, most of us know what $50 is a lot of money. I don't know about you. When I look at $50, I'm like, I could go a lot further in a different time. But we need to put these regulations in place. Citizens United needs to go. AIPAC needs to go. We don't need corporations having any control over our politicians. But if we're going to, I fully endorse having a blazer and showing you who pays my bills. That way you know that what I'm doing. And if Starbucks is listening, I will take all the coffee money. But no, I actually don't want Starbucks right now. They're doing stupid stuff. But we have to do those things. We have to make it so that working class people are represented. Working class people deserve better representation. They deserve to not worry about a corporation lobbying their politician into saying, you know what would be really good today? Let's ban an app. Let's ban an app. Let's do that. Let's add whatever, let our president do whatever he's doing today. Like, those are not things that they should be lobbying for. We should not be getting people we should not be allowing our president to take money to get people out of jail. The Chrisleys deserve to be in jail. They defrauded people. I mean, I know criminals like to criminal together, but I thought we were a little bit better than that. So, yeah, we need to get rid of Citizens United. We don't need corporate tax dollars in our elections. We need to make sure that other countries, Russia, I'm talking to you, are not in our elections. We deserve better representation, and that starts with working class representatives like myself.
All right, let's get, this might be another contentious answer.
You guys
Victoria,
couldn't throw any
I'll let you
softballs?
go first on this one. No, I'm not picking the softballs. People want the meat and potatoes. Okay. Well, actually, I guess this question is addressed to you, Tom. So maybe we should let you go first.
And I guess I failed to mention that I only take the easy questions.
Yeah. All right, Tom, you want to repeal the 1934 NFA gun law, enacted to keep machine guns and explosives out of the hands of gangsters. Also, you wish to repeal the 1968 gun law enacted after multiple assassinations and civil unrest at the time. Have these laws restricted your access to assault rifles, and are you trying to solve a problem or get NRA money?
So yes, the 1934 National Firearms Act and the 1968 Gun Control Act are both indeed unconstitutional and should be repealed. I am a life member of the NRA, but I am not receiving money from them. So that's that question. You cannot tell me, or if and I'll even open it up. Do we not have enough gun laws on the books? No. So what gun law would you propose to end gun violence? We already have that. Yes, we do. Yep. Every time I've bought a firearm, I have to go through a background check. Okay, fair enough. Individual sales. Individual sales. No, gun shows you must buy them. You must go through the NICS check. Yes, you must. Now, are we attacking a tool or the problem? And the problem is that we are fallen, sinful creatures. Now, how we can alleviate this is actually punish the crimes. Because you're not going to legislate good behavior. Look overseas, they took away the guns, and what are they dealing with now? They're taking knives. Taking the guns is not the answer. And it's in the Constitution. If you want to take that, then follow the movement, follow the Constitution, and amend it. Until then, shall not be infringed means shall not be infringed.
Give everybody a musket.
It doesn't specify muskets. They're regulating knives now because they did not get rid of the violence. The root word in gun violence is violence. You are not dealing with the root word, which is violence. When you restrict my ability as a citizen to defend myself and to defend the Constitution if it's necessary.
You had to have training before you could touch a firearm.
I don't disagree that as an individual.
People on the street should not be able to walk in, buy an assault rifle, and without any training.
I do not disagree that as an individual gun owner, it is upon you and incumbent upon you to receive that training. Yes. As the Constitution is written, it is not required. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so I didn't interrupt that interplay because you did open it up and ask for comments, but unless it's requested, we won't do that again. But I mean, if you wish to have interplay, I'm open to that if that's what you want.
Fair enough. I broke the rules. That's on me.
No. I just have the rule here for you. If you want to interact, that's fine. But if you don't, then I'll enforce that. Okay. Would you? I mean, that was directed at him. But if you want to address that topic, feel free. You have your 3 minutes.
All right, so fun fact, I am a gun owner. I have 2 at home, and I'm a good shot. Ask my husband. So I disagree. We need legislation. As a responsible gun owner, it's on me, the owner, to take charge and address the problem in our country. And before I tell you the story that I'm about to, this is a story that I was brought to my attention and the way that they describe this. So I have become friends with Brett Cross. If you guys don't know who Brett Cross is, he lost his son at Uvalde. I have no reason to know his son Uzi. to hear an AI-generated voice of Uzi. I've talked extensively with Brett. I've seen his suffering, his wife's suffering, his siblings' suffering. That should not happen in our country. Period. End of story. Like, I don't understand how, is it a radical idea to think that if I can save one child's life, that one family can come home and their child come home and not have to worry about it? Isn't that worth it to just give it up? Yes. Life is important, right? We want to protect the children, right? We want to make sure they're safe. Other countries don't do that. Another fun fact, I'm a dual citizen. I don't have this problem when I go out of the country. When I go to England to spend time with my family, I don't have to worry about these things. Because a knife is a crime of passion in my belief. Because you have to get real close to someone to get them with a knife. Unless you're doing some medieval fighting, which, look, if someone wants to take me out with a sword, let's go. I'm a millennial. Let's go. But, all right, so I've told you the story about Brett. And one of the things that you'll find, and I want you all to do this when you leave here, I'm going to give you homework. I want you to go home and look up the video footage from Uvalde. The sound of children crying has been removed. That is on national television to desensitize you to gun violence. And speaking of the Second Amendment, let's get into that because this is your other homework. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Those commas mean something. I'm not good at English, but I understand that the commas mean something. My teacher in the back's like, she learned something. She learned something, yes. But that's important. They weren't planning for ARs to be a thing when they wrote that. I don't know about you, but some 250-year-old man who did whatever he was doing at that time should not be influencing how the guns look today. So let's make common sense gun laws, and let's be, as gun owners, responsible and taking the charge.
All right, this question will turn down the heat. It's kind of more of a policy question.
Thank God.
From Eleanor Roof, and I forgot to say who the last question was from. All right, H.R. 1, the big, beautiful bill, passed in the House with sweeping cuts to Medicaid, Medicare, SNAP food assistance, HUD housing assistance, while providing an almost $5 trillion tax cut for the wealthy and ultra-wealthy. If you were in Congress, would you be for or against this bill in its current form, and why or why not? You want to go first?
Can I cuss?
Victoria?
Who said no? Get out. I'm just kidding. Say, fuck that. Unacceptable. Guys, why aren't we taking care of our neighbors? Why are we getting rid of food for children? I mean, it's unsurprising that they don't care, and we're giving tax cuts again to some rich people who don't need extra money for avocado toast. Like, why are we doing this? It's a stupid bill. It doesn't work. And for the Congress people who signed it, shame. Shame on you. Shame on you. Every single one of you, I hope, will email Scott Desjardins and tell him about this beautiful little town hall, because I tried to get my friends who are in D.C. to go talk to him because he won't come home. And I was like, hey guys, you know, we all scream at people on the internet, so can you go scream at him in his office and just tell him that I'll be there in 2 years and just keep the seat warm? Maybe not keep it warm, never mind. That's too J.D. Vance. It's too J.D. Vance. Oh, God, okay. I felt dirty. Anyway, it's a dumb bill. I don't like it. So yeah, I would have said hell no.
Y'all ready? I love this bill. Come on. I said that just to get the reaction. No, I'd have been a no. I already told you absolutely not to deficit spending. No, we are on a road to ruin, and we get the same thing from everybody up there. Only now as Republicans, we're calling it a big, beautiful bill. When it's Democrats in office doing it, it's an omnibus, and it's horrible. I don't care what you call it, it's a horrible idea. And how do we fix this problem is something I talked about before, which is single item bills. And now, and it's passed the House, which here's what will happen, is it'll go over to the Senate next week when they come back off of their break. They'll mix it up, do whatever it is they think they're going to do. They'll kick it back over to the House, and the House will pass it. Horrible idea, horrible bill. It absolutely ridiculous. So, and that's how we fix that, is those single item bills, and put people on record and justify why they're spending money, where it's at. Get rid of the fraud, waste, and abuse in there, because in our Medicaid, our Medicare, there is indeed fraud, waste, and abuse. Cut that stuff out. Doesn't matter if it's $1. Find it and get rid of it.
We could just get rid of Elmo.
And that's how it goes. So that's where it is. I was expecting a better response when I said I loved it. You guys you disappointed me a little on that one. I'll try harder next time. That's my fault. I didn't sell it. Thank you.
There will be more opportunities, I'm sure.
Can we just get rid of Elmo for real though? Elmo needs to go. And if you're not on Twitter, he doesn't know how to spell his name, Elon Musk. We just need to get rid of him. That would solve a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse. So much.
And all of his government contracts. He's decided to step out on his own. I think, he's decided to go.
Where's he going?
His car company.
Is he going to Russia? I hear they like him there.
Is that a question we're?
No, sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, this question is from Kat Curtis Murphy. Hey, Kat. If elected, will you push for legislation that supports ranked choice voting to help whittle away at the two-party system?
All right, since I was last, I'm first. So Tom actually mentioned this. I don't like that we're a two-party system. Like, unfortunately, we have to abide by the rules. And I'll tell you guys the same thing I tell all my followers on TikTok. And when I'm on lives, the party system is public transportation. We're just getting on the bus that gets us close to the station. We're not buying a house. Please don't buy a house. We're not buying something. We're just getting on that bus and we're saying, this is where I want to go. It's the right direction. I can always get back on the bus and go back. Like, if you want, reverse doesn't always work out, but okay. So as far as ranked choice voting, I don't really have any issues with it, to be honest. I want you to have that option. I don't know enough about it to really give a firm answer, but I'm willing to listen and I'm willing to hear out my constituents. If my constituents say, I really want this, sure, let's go. I'm happy to hear what you want to say and vote on that, even if maybe I disagree with it at the end of the day. There's plenty of things that I disagreed with when it came to the immigration bill that was on the table. But I knew that Tennesseans wanted safety and security at the border, and that bill provided money to make that more accessible and make it easier on our Border Patrol, because they're doing hard work and they deserve to be paid fairly and have proper resources. So yeah, I would have voted for something like that. Do I agree with it? Absolutely not. Would I be in a room screaming at someone in the back room? Yes, I would. But I would still want to prioritize what you all needed, because that's what you wanted, you asked for. So yeah, I consider it.
Tom?
So I'm in a similar boat in that I haven't really heard of this. Yeah, and again, I am not a fan of the two-party system, but it is what we have. So you engage under the rules that you have. So, and that's just, you pick a side, unfortunately, but you have to be open to it. And yeah, I'll look into it myself and see. But is it a solution to it? If it is, absolutely, I'm behind it. If it isn't, then yeah, probably not. So again, I'd have to have more information to support that, or to speak more to it. So, thank you.
All right, this question comes from Alex Sager. Is it Sager? Yeah. Actually, there are several questions here, and Some of them we've already kind of touched on, so I'm going to ask the one that has not been brought up yet. Do you believe the state of Israel is committing genocide against Gaza?
No.
And you was in the military. Yeah, I'm ashamed of you.
Wait,
Okay, hold on.
This is
We
not
got it, we got it,
feedback.
I got
Is
it.
that your entire answer? or you wanna
I'm not here to
expound?
convince you. The question was asked, are they committed genocide? And the answer is no. They didn't start the conflict. But when you're engaged in it, there were no Israelis in Palestine when that happened on October 7th. None. So they, as far as I'm concerned, they brought it on themselves. So
Okay.
So-
let's
We got
not-
it, we got it.
that's the answer. No, I do not believe they are committing genocide.
All right. Victoria?
All right. I know that we all want to yell. I know it's so easy. I am going to defer to John McCain. I will ask that you guys kind of use that. We all know as Democrats, because we look at that video and we're like, can we go back to the good old days if they weren't that good? It is a genocide. Plain and simple, it's a genocide. What they are doing is unacceptable. And it's not the Israeli people, it is the government acting out and behaving inhumanely. As a person who decided very early in my campaign to sign a pro-peace pact, I decided very early on that I would not be taking AIPAC money because I do not condone genocide, period, end of story. There is a conflict happening there. But, we all know what happens in Star Wars when the Empire acts so badly. They're just the most lovely people, guys. How do the rebels respond? And the Empire says, oh, well, they're so bad. They're just rebels. They're just... We've all seen that. It is a genocide. It needs to be stopped. Netanyahu is out of his mind and needs to be brought down for war crimes because it's unacceptable. We can't allow that to keep happening. The people in Palestine deserve peace and justice. They deserve to be able to live in their homes. The children deserve to have food in their bellies and not be worrying where their meals are coming from. So, yeah, it's a genocide, and we need to address it because it's inhumane.
All right. The next one is from Diana. There wasn't a last name on there. Do you think there should be term limits or age limits for Congress? For example, not allowed to run past the age of 70.
I'll go first.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so the term limits, we do have to have a little conversation, guys. I know it sounds like a really good idea, and we kind of get that. But what we're seeing right now is a product of a system that keeps working class people from running for office. So if we want to see a two-party system, maybe grow to a multi-party system, because I believe that we do need that, we've got to make it accessible so that we have choices on the ballot. You can't just look at a 32-year-old and say, quit your job, and, just go out and run for office. It's so easy. No, you can't do that. Working class people can't do that. And in order to make, and retired, yes. My fellow candidates in the room are like, yeah. The reason I say about the term limits is that if we make it more accessible for young politicians to run in office, then we don't have to worry so much about the term limits because you'll have a choice on ballots. I want you to be empowered. You don't need to run for Congress. I want you to run for school board because your schools need representation. I want you to run for county commission because local elections and state elections are just as important as federal elections. I know we like to see Marjorie Taylor Greene running around on the media, but your local and state elections are just as important. They affect your daily life. So, yeah, we need to make it more accessible so term limits aren't something we have to think about. As far as an age limit, yes. Do I believe that we need to make it something hard-pressed? No, I really don't. I think that we need politicians who are willing to step aside and let a new generation in. I think we need politicians who are listening to their constituents. I think we need political parties, Republican and Democrat, listening to their constituents, hearing what we're saying. Because if they're listening, they're engaged. And if they're engaged, they understand that we want better representation. We want working class representation. We want diversity, equity, inclusion in our Congress. And accessibility. That's not a radical idea. It's not, if that sounds radical, shit, I'm a radical. But I'm really not. I don't think that that's a radical idea. I think that proper representation matters, and we can address all those issues. So, yeah.
So term limits. So interestingly enough, as I'm sure you all know, we changed it so the president can only hold two terms, two consecutive terms, right? Or not consecutive, 2 terms. We, however, failed to do that in the Congress. Now, my stance has long been that 12 years is plenty, because that is where they all used to match up. Obviously, with the presidency, it doesn't work like that anymore. And then at that point, you should go away, do something different. Now, the other side of this is we do have election cycles, and you have the opportunity every 2 or 6 years and 4 to change those people out. So part of this is on we the people to be engaged, show up, show out, and vote if we're not being represented like we're supposed to be. If you're not aware, there is a convention of states that's been in the works for a lot of years trying to address this very issue. Now, the kind of the other side of this too is who are we in Tennessee's 4th Congressional District to tell even the 6th District in Tennessee who they are to send time after time after time. So there is that side of it too. Now we're dictating. But again, we have a convention of states, and as a nation, if we want to put that in and codify it in a constitution, then let's do it. Until then, we show up as voters, as citizens, and execute the duties. Thank you. So, all right, maybe I'm not done. I still got time. No, and it is. Absolutely, we were talking about this before. It is an incumbent protection racket. It absolutely is. So, but how do we break that cycle? We stay engaged, stay involved, and get out and vote. I don't know. I have no idea if it's the same way with the Democrats, but for me to run as a Republican, I have to pay $2,500 to the party, which and get some signatures. Which some states do it differently. Some states that fee is like $30,000. Some states it's nothing, but you have to get like a ridiculous amount of signatures. So that's where a lot of that comes in too, is the state legislatures and how they run that stuff and allow the parties to run it. So again, it comes back to us as citizens to be involved and know these things. So there we go. I think that was one of my longer ones, wasn't it?
Okay, this one is another question from Alex Sager. And Tom, you can go first on this answer. Do you believe all residents in the USA have a right to due process?
There is a difference. As citizens, we have a right to due process. And that's a little bit of how you slice it up. Again, I'm going to assume this is going back to our illegal immigration problem that we have going on in this country. It's different. Again, you broke the law coming in. So what affords you this due process to say I get to say? So again, it comes back to that process. It's determined you broke the law. What more due process do you need? You need to go. So again, I'm explaining my situation on it. Afterwards, if you would like to discuss it, if afterwards you'd like to discuss why we should allow all these people to come into our house illegally, knock yourselves out. Until then, if you came into this country illegally and it is said you are here illegally, then That's the end of the story. You're not just scooped up
All right, this
and
is not
taken
a
out.
call and response.
Thank you.
Folks. Yeah. Thank you, Tom. Victoria?
I believe that if you step foot on U.S. soil, you deserve due process. No one's illegal on stolen land. And past that, why are we so threatened by people who have been sold the American dream, who've been sold the golden dream that you can come here, you can make a better life, who are doing just that, coming here and doing all they have to do to claim asylum and say they have a whole year is to go, that's not illegal. That's not someone breaking into your house. I've never had someone break into my house. I mean, I would like to see what happened. Yeah. Color me unsurprised. So when someone steps into our country, they deserve due process. If they break the law afterwards, absolutely hold them accountable. But don't just rip them out of the country because they had the audacity to work on Broadway for your favorite hillbilly singer. Or in the fields picking and doing the jobs that you don't want to do. They're doing it. They're adding money to our economy. They're coming here, paying taxes, and asking for nothing in return other than a paycheck and to make sure that their families are safe. Can we at least provide that? That's not radical. It's not radical to believe that my fellow man, no matter what they've done, deserves due process. Think of Jean Valjean in Les Mis. The bishop is the person who gave him grace, who turned his life around. The bishop turned his life around and did that. We can offer the same thing. It's not that he wasn't held accountable. It's not that he didn't pay his dues. He was held accountable. He served his time. He came back, and someone showed him grace. I think we can show a little bit more grace in our country. I think we can bring back the American dream for everyone and keep our borders safe while also respecting human life. Because like that play, to love another person is to see the face of God. I don't think that's a radical idea to treat someone with humanity. It's a Christian idea. So yeah, that's my answer.
All right. So we do have some other interesting questions, but we're kind of running up against our time constraints. I appreciate everyone that contributed questions. I appreciate you being here. I appreciate your supporting a public forum and civil political discourse for the most part. So now we will conclude with each of our candidates will have 2 minutes for a closing statement. Tom, you can begin. All right, go ahead. Thank you.
Thank you guys for coming out tonight. And I appreciate the civil discourse. Tom, I appreciate you for showing up. We might have disagreed on everything under the sun, but you showed up. That's something to be, that's it. Yeah. All the Democrats in this room, I know how you're feeling. We need better representation. To the Republicans listening, who've watched this man come into a room full of not so friendly people sometimes, that's a big deal. Tom knows about hard work. He knows about serving our country. And I applaud him for that. I have plenty of friends who've served in the military. It's not an easy task. And they deserve all of our recognition and to be taken care of by their country when they come home, when they retire. That's not a radical decision. Unfortunately, the Republican Party doesn't really represent District 4. Doesn't really represent you. And I want to see that changed because we know Mr. 2D over there isn't going to show up. We know he's not going to be here. You deserve better. So I'm asking for you to show up. If you're a Republican watching, you love Tom now. You're going to love me in November. You're going to love me when I start serving because I am a fighter. I believe in freedom. I believe in safety. I believe in affordability. Thank you.
I maybe should have gone first. Kelly, thank you for moderating. Murfreesboro Indivisible, thank you for hosting this event and inviting me to attend. And I appreciate you extending that invitation to Congressman Desjardins also. Thank all of you for showing up and participating in what is our republic. So give yourselves a hand. Thank you. And a special thank you to the few I have out there that showed up directly in support of me. I do appreciate the travel and the trip made down. I will tell you that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. What we have now is a Congress that is put us on a road to ruin financially. They are up there spending our taxpayer dollars like a bunch of drunken paratroopers at the strip club. It has to stop. And so we have to send different people up to Washington, D.C. to do things different. Get our government living within its means. That is the biggest threat to this country right now is our national deficit. And it's on all of us to change that, to show up and send someone different up there. So, that being said, I appreciate you all again for showing up, participating in this event, and I look forward to your vote in the Republican primary. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank both of you. I appreciate your passion. I appreciate your showing up. And I appreciate the audience that's been so fervent in their attention and responses. And thank you so much to Murfreesboro Indivisible for hosting this. Do you have some closing remarks?
All right, so thank you. I want to thank Tom and Victoria for being here. And I do want to say that Tom was here on very short notice. So I am particularly grateful for his the effort that he's put forward. And I am so grateful for you. This has been so exciting. It's been so good to be in the room with you and talking about these hard things. And yes, there was some passion. There's some emotion involved in it. But that's because what we're talking about matters. We're talking about our country. We're talking about our democracy. We're talking about the district that we live in. I want to thank Walnut House for providing the venue. I want to thank Kelly Northcutt for being our moderator. So where'd you go? And I do want to let you know that we do have a form letter available. If you would like to write to sign this letter, that we will send then to Congressman Desjardins, expressing your concern that he did not show up tonight. So you can get that on your way out if that's something you would like to do. There's lots of ways that you can become engaged in the community. You can join Murfreesboro Indivisible. We have a QR code down there you can scan. You can volunteer for local campaigns. I think I'm right that our candidates will have a few minutes after this to talk. If you would like to talk to them directly. Right. The letter that we're sending to Desjardins, we will pay the postage. So you just have to sign it. So you should think about both candidates mentioned tonight the importance of being engaged and involved, and we would encourage you to get involved in voter outreach. And so at MTSU, they have the American Democracy Project. That's a nonpartisan project where they get students registered to vote. League of Women Voters is another nonpartisan group here in town that is active in registering your fellow citizens to vote. And again, you can join Murfreesboro Indivisible, and we'll help you get to work in getting folks registered. You, of course, can affiliate with a party, and we'll have access here to connect with those parties. I think we can talk to Tom. And then we have here, this is a special shout out to the Rutherford County Democratic Party and the Rutherford County Democratic Women, who actually answered my email and text when I started asking about doing a town hall, and they have been really crucial in the logistics of all this. Last thing, Murfreesboro Indivisible is sponsoring a honk and wave on June 14th, which is No King's Day. You can also scan a QR code there and sign up for that if you want to participate in that. So sign-up sheets, QR codes, pocket constitutions are available on your way out the door. Thank you again, and have a wonderful evening.
It's not what you do, it's just the way that you do it. Makes me feel this way. It's not what I see, it's what I read into the looks you've been giving me. Now make no mistake, I'm not sure I can take any more of this waiting game. If I had my way, I'd like to hear you say you kind of feel the same way too. So when will you be mine? Do I have to wait forever? When will you be mine? Do I have to wait forever? It's not what you think, but when you take a drink, I feel this invitation. There's no need to worry, 'cause I'm in no hurry. I just want that sensation.